Don't just take our word for it. Check out what our clients are saying about working with the Dan Gemus real estate team.
I got to thank you for being a voice of reason in a sea of insanity. I really appreciate what you and your teams do.
Visit dangemus.com. And now, filling in for Dan Gemus, it's your host, Joyce Blackmere.
And welcome back to the show. Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. I'm Joyce Blackmere. I'm the Director of Sales and Broker with the Dan Gemus team. And I have Aaron Blackmere, sales rep with the team with me as well. Hello.
Hello.
You have the lucky winner for the $50 gift card for the Richmond Popcorn Company.
I sure do. The lucky winner is Alan Taylor. Congratulations,
awesome.
Alan. Congrats,
Alan. The studio will be in touch, and I will actually bring your gift card to the popcorn shop later today, so it'll be there for you to pick up when you're ready to buy it. Just hold off for a couple hours. That's all.
Just
I
give it
ask.
at the Christmas Santa Claus parade when you're there tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, perfect. So we have Christian Janisse with us on the line. Hi, Christian.
Hey, Joyce. Hey, Aaron. How are you doing?
Awesome.
Great.
Awesome. Hey, so we had a listener call in a little bit earlier on in the show asking whether or not we need to disclose whether or not a house is haunted when we're selling it. So thought maybe you could shed some light on this for us.
So we've talked on the show about the different types of defects, and truthfully, there's not really much that sellers do need to disclose. When a buyer buys a house, it's buyer beware. So if you're acting for a buyer, if you are a buyer in the market and you have any concerns or anything that you want to know about, it's up to you to ask those questions. So the seller does not have to disclose that, but what the seller does have to do is if the buyer asks about, is this house haunted, the seller has to answer honestly. That one's kind of a gray area because how a buyer would be able to prove that a seller didn't answer honestly, they would actually have to prove that the seller knew that the house was haunted and didn't tell them about it after the fact. So
that was my question. How would you prove that?
Right.
Honestly, absent like if the seller posted on Facebook that, oh my gosh, my house is haunted, and the buyer found that out afterwards, but they don't even have to disclose that unless the buyer asks. Like the seller has no obligation to disclose stigmas against the house. I mean, take something, if somebody passed away in the house, you don't have to disclose that. Now, if somebody asks and you're aware of it, you do have to be honest.
Yes, exactly. As agents as well, when, sellers tell us things that, could impact a person's reason to want to buy a house, that's something that we have to disclose. It's, part of our policy and part of our legislation. Christian, so you also wanted to talk a little bit about condos and interim occupancies today.
Yeah, so it's a brief topic, but with all the condos going up around Windsor, Essex, I thought it would be relevant. So basically, when you're buying a brand new condo, so this only relates to new builds, it doesn't relate to like resale condos. There's two dates that you need to be aware of. The first is the occupancy date, which is the date that you as the buyer can move into the condo. And then the second is the closing date. So really simple, when condos are being developed, obviously there are a lot of money to develop. So what happens is that when your unit is available to be occupied, in other words, when it's actually livable, so it has water, it has electricity, it's fully built out, you're actually, unless the agreement says otherwise, but I've never seen an agreement that doesn't say this, you're obligated to move in. And at that time, you have to pay what's called the occupancy fees. And a lot of people are shocked by the occupancy fees, like why do I have to pay a monthly fee to live in the unit when I don't even actually own it yet? And what if I don't want to move in? Most of the time, the agreement of purchase and sale says that you have to move in as soon as the unit's ready, and it's so that the builder can offset their cost of building. So if they have, let's say they have 40 units that are going up, if the first 10 are ready to be occupied, then they want those people to move in there. Once the condo is fully developed and fully complete, then they can register the condo on title, and that's when they can change the ownership. So a lot of people are shocked that they have to pay for it in the meantime, and they're shocked that they're obligated to pay for it.
Yeah. And you bring up a point too, like especially when it comes to new construction, whether that be condo or new home developments, the builders forms are long and lengthy. They're not just a standard agreement of purchase and sale in most scenarios. So it's a good idea to have your lawyer review those forms for you before you sign them, so that there's nothing that gets missed, like those interim occupancy fees.
Yeah, that's a great point. They are very long, and just so everybody knows, like the interim occupancy fees, the builder's actually not making any money off those. They're not really allowed. The Condominium Act actually governs what interest rate they can charge, which is how the occupancy fee is, calculated. It's really just meant to cover the interest costs, so they're carrying costs. It's not really meant to be this big profit-driven, like they're not trying to be greedy. It takes a lot of money to build those condos, and if 10 of them can be occupied, they want to have the people move in and start to offset those costs as quickly as possible.
Yeah, that makes total sense for sure. Awesome. Christian, if people have questions for you, or if they are needing some legal advice, how can they reach out?
So they can email us at hello@simplyclose.ca, or they can give us a call at 519-997-3775. If you have any questions about new builds, agreements, or even just if you have to disclose something, feel free to reach out or shoot us an email.
Awesome. Well, thanks. We always appreciate your insights on the show, and I'm sure that the listeners do as well.
Absolutely.
So thank you.
Thanks. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. You
too.
as well. That was Christian Janisse from SimplyClose Law. He is a great resource for our team. We're lucky to have him and his team in our office to answer our questions and help us along, and help our clients as well when they're in need of his services, services.
Always great services coming out of there. Everybody's always happy. It's a great little office over there. So definitely check them out. Get a hold of them.
Yeah, for sure. So I hope that answered the listeners' questions about disclosures. We are honest, right? We have to deal
Can
fair.
I add something on to that as well,
of
quickly?
Course, yeah.
Just about the haunted house there is, I've talked to quite a few people, and 20 years in the business, there is actually a small select few people. I don't even know if it's how big these are the people I've talked to, but actually look for haunted houses.
Yeah.
They actually find it interesting.
Could be a selling feature.
It could be a sell, and maybe if you get
you can charge admission.
I was going to say that you can charge admission, or
HST may be applicable on the sale.
Exactly. But you might get a bidding war out of these people, because not many people admit their houses are haunted, and I don't know. I know. Well, I shouldn't say I know. I think I've been in a couple myself, but
oh yes,
that's a different topic
haunted
for another
house
day.
Stories. No, like seriously, we have like a couple minutes. I was showing a house once to some clients, and it was way out in the county, and it was a really big house. Like, think of a haunted house like you would see in the movies. It was big, like that old century style brick, like just old. But it was a farmhouse, so we had to go through this really long driveway. It was a dirt driveway full of potholes, so keep that in mind.
Typical country property.
Right. So we go to the house, knock on the door, and there's nobody there. And you can kind of tell through the window that front door is not used, because there's like furniture across it. So I was like, okay, great. So we go into the side garage, which is in through the garage. The side door, which is through the garage. Get in there, and it's like, how do you get up to the door? Like, there was no way to really get up, but there was a table there. Anyways, I thought, well, I'm hopping up on this table, and I'm going to open the door. So we get in there. It's really, really dark and dingy, like vibes. So I go in, and I'm like, hello, is anybody here? There was no noise, whatever. I couldn't find a single light switch. It was so bizarre. Oh my gosh. So we're walking around, and I suddenly got this vibe, like, there's somebody with an axe around the corner. I just know it. So I said to my clients, I'm like, we just weren't feeling it. So we left. When I got in the car, I looked up, and then in the attic, there was a light on that was not on when we came into the property. Scared the heck out of me. I don't know. I guess I just got too involved. Threw it in reverse.
Peeled out
through the potholes. I was driving a Jeep at the time, and it was like off-roading. It was actually hilarious, but it was terrifying all at the same time. Oh my goodness.
Great story. Great story.
Crazy things that we encounter.
Meanwhile, it was
and
the home-
there was no disclosure on that listing.
Yeah, it was just a homeowner that wasn't aware you were coming.
Well,
You
hey,
scared
I
him.
still don't know that to this day. That's not even a factual statement. I say it was a haunted house.
There you go.
Anyways, if you have any questions about the market, if you're looking to make a move, if you want to know what your home might be worth in today's market, we would love to talk to you. Please, we love it when you send us your questions. You can reach out to the team 7 days a week, 519-566-5565. You can find us all over the internet, dangemus.com, or check out our social media sites. We would love to have a conversation with you. So feel free to reach out anytime. And if you have any questions about what you've heard on the show, you can also reach out to me as well, Joyce at dangemus.com. I would love to chat too. And I don't get the opportunity to chat with our clients as often as I would like to. So please don't hesitate to reach out. And thanks for tuning in today. If you're planning to go to the Amherstburg Santa Claus Parade, give yourself some time to find parking and a route to get there, because they start closing the roads somewhere around the 3:30 mark, so that they can set up. And there'll be a lot of great things going on. The town is always bustling this time of year. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll be back tomorrow between noon and 1. Dan will be back in studio. So he'll see you then, and we'll tune in again tomorrow, 12 to 1, right here on the Dan Gemus Real Estate Show.